Hi everybody, I am Zura and today we are going to review the T-44, the Soviet Tier 8 medium. This tank is a veteran on the battlefield and recently got buffed. Wargaming decided that the all-around average performance of the T-34 I needed some love, and now we are going to see how much love he received from Wargaming. And here we have the new T-44, the old T-44, the patch, we are talking about patch 9.20. In 9.19, the T-44 is in this state, and now after buff, we can see that he received some DPM, some penetration, not bad, but nothing special, I can say. The gun handling was buffed very well. Nice same time, lower dispersion while moving, turning the tank and turning the turret. And most of all, the T-44 received a huge turret armor buff. And this means that this all-around very versatile tank have received a buff in the right place, in my opinion, because this tank was not so exceptional in nothing, but it was good in almost everything. No favorite map, no favorite situation, but he was a real Mr. Medium. And now he can be the real Mr. Medium, the super real Mr. Medium, because those buffs are really interesting in my opinion. But now let's see how it's stuck in comparison to the other Russian medium of the tier 8. We have a couple of rear turret mounted tanks, STG, OBJ 416, and the brother of the T-44, the T-54 Mod 1. Here is missing the T-4400, but it's a clone of the T-44, so it's not necessary. We can add. This is another premium tank, but we can see that the statistics are almost the same of the standard T-44, and the DPM is not bad at all. OBJ 416 has a monster gun and a monster DPM, but this tank probably in the next future can disappear because Wargaming say that he want to revamp the line of the OBJ 430. So nobody knows what's the future of the OBJ 416. The STG has a very awful DPM, but on the other side, monster penetration and monster alpha damage. But our T-44 is Mr. Medium. So the DPM is good, the penetration is okay, the damage is okay, the ammo capacity it's okay, the shell velocity it's not so good, well, it's bad, but all the shell velocity in this pack it's bad. Okay, gun handling, probably the best among all in gun handling. Well, I can say that OBJ 416 has a very good gun handling, but the 3 degrees of gun depression is a very heavy downside. So the best gun handling it's up to T-44, 7 degrees of gun depression, versatility, gun depression is okay, aiming time is okay, dispersion is okay. Dispersion while moving, turning the tank, turning the turning the turret, it's okay. Mr. Medium is the real Mr. Medium. And now we have the mobility. Standard mobility, 51. Reverse speed, it's okay. Power weight, it's okay. 20 power weight. Turret resistance is standard. Turret traverse, good. Tank traverse, okay, and the armor is the same. This is the real Mr. Medium in tier 8. We have a lot of medium tanks that can do better in some site, but do worse in the other side. This tank can perform well in every situation. Probably the only downside, the worst downside probably is the penetration. You are compelled to go with premium rounds in many situations. This is probably the worst downside of the T-44. The buff is nice, in my opinion. Let's go and check the suggested equipment. Coated optics, gun rammer, vertical stabs. The coated optics is the ventilation, just because view range is very important in this type of play style. We can see that the gun handling becomes really good with the vertical stabs added to the standard stats. And now let's check the most important buff for this tank. This tank got a real nice buff in the turret. The turret is well rounded. All the hull didn't change at all, but the turret now is 190 thick in the frontal part instead of 140. Let me see. 120. Look, this is the old turret. If you shoot in the central part of the turret, you can go through in the central part almost everywhere. Only the upper part of the mantle is thick, but now the turret is very reliable. You have 119 on the cheeks and in those part of the mantlet. This is the weak spot in the turret. The cupola is very thin, so not easy to shoot at the cupola at medium and long range. The other part of the turret are very good, are very well angled. Just remember to always look at your enemy, because if you look on another part of the map, enemy can go through your nice turret. The hull and the side armor are the old one, but now you can go all down better than before, because the hull is not reliable, but the turret is very good, and the cupola disappear once you go in full down. And now let's go and see how it performs on the battlefield. And here we are, thanks to my friend Zazinedo that lent me this replay, and we are in Paris. Probably not the best map for this type of tank, because very few places where you can go all down, but we have just said that is in a 360 degrees all around performer, so probably he can do well even here in Paris. And Zazinedo decided to go on the heavy side and is trying to pick some damage in the central part of the map. A very dangerous maneuver, because he's not top tier, but the team started to push really well on the heavy side, and seems that our team is way more numerous than the enemy. So Zazinedo decided to give some support to the heavies in this part of the map. This is a pretty okay situation, but the hull is exposed. So if the enemy decided to shoot a T-44, probably the armor in this situation can be not so good. But the mobility, the low profile, and the nice gun handling can help in some way. And we can see the first shot that bounced on the turret. Look at this one. And it was shooting by the Love. The penetration of the Love is really good. So the turret armor does the job in this situation. Now let's see how Zazinator came out from this situation. That is not, it's not good for this type of tank, but probably he look at the map and you have just seen that in the northeast part of the map the situation is in a glued state, nobody is moving, a lot of tank destroyal, and probably Zazinator decided that this part of the map can give more opportunity to pump up some damages, but now you see something interesting. Some guys coming in the central part of the map is gone in a side scraping position and try to withstand the charge of a lot of enemy, as some scaling one like ISU 152. The FV is pushing really tough, another bounce coming from T-20, but luckily a friend with the IS heavy tank came in support with Zazinator. All the other guys in the battle don't pay attention to the medium coming from the central part of the map, and now Zazinator is trying to use the angle of the building to cover most of his tank. Is going side scrape really well. It works a lot. Look how many bounds he got from Tiger 1 and T-20. The armor of this tank is pretty trollish, and even the hull gives some gives some nice results sometimes. And now the most scary tank, the FV-4202, was killed by the team, and now Zazinator can pop up some more damage on these tier 7 tanks. The Tiger 1 has stock turret and stock gun, so is not so scary for the armor of the T-44, and Zazinator succeeded in holding this road together with the help of the IS. Very well played by those guys, and the central hot situation is cooling down. Now Zazinator can try to go back in the previous position, and you want to give some support to his team that is pretty damaged, with the exception of the lower that find a nice position while going down. Now KV3, probably this tank give the best against lower tier tanks. Zazinator now move to premium rounds, just because KV3 is a pretty well armored tank at tier 7. Probably 190 can be enough, but this is a very dangerous situation, and premium rounds on the Arta. This is a well spent premium rounds in my opinion, just because I hit Arta a lot. And now the Emil 1 with very thin side armor got easily penetrated by Zazinator. Wow, the IS in Zazinator team decided to suicide, trying to crashing an enemy conqueror. And now Zazinator succeeded in resetting the cap. The SP-1C can't penetrate the turret armor of the T-44, and another fearsome enemy. Look at the Zazinator is trying to snapshot while moving the buff on the gun handling. Another side scraping bounce. Very well played by Zazinator, just because side scraping in this tank it's really difficult because the side armor is not good, so relies only on the right angle. And Zazinator again inside scraping, but the T-54 light is running away. 87 in front of him, giving the back, and the T-44 doesn't have any problem in taking down this type of enemy. And we can see a really nice all-around performance the T-44 succeeded in using the turret armor, the hull armor, the side scraping, the gun, just because. Let's go and check the post-game stat. And here we are. Okay, mastery mark, some minor achievement, and the Spartan, because he survived ricocheting a lot of penetrating shots. Confederate, because he shooted a lot of enemy, and still, whoa, with the T-44, 3600 damage, 3 kill, more than 1400 experience, 7 achievement, and the detail report is not bad at all. This tank blocked a lot of damage, he shooted a lot of rounds, so nice DPM, the penetration is okay, but when the situation is so and so, you can go with the premium rounds, and the penetration goes up to 248 APCR round with faster shell velocity. So the worst downside of the T-44 can be dodge. Using the premium rounds even is not so fair sometimes and not so good for your wallet, but at the end of the battle, Mr. Medium is good or not. Yeah, I believe that now Mr. Medium is not so useful, not so nice, not so funny like it was in patch 9.19. Now Mr. Medium is a real Mr. Medium. Not really bad weaknesses, not really bad weaknesses, not really strong point, but a real nice all-rounded medium. He can fight against everything, so in my opinion it's a real good tank, guys. It's a real good tank. Well done by Wargaming, that gives the right amount of salt to this tank. It's really funny to play. It's not a problem to green through this tank and go versus T-54. And for this review, probably we have done. Your Azura greets you, give you appointment at the next one. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed the review, or comment whatever you want. I'm waiting you at the next review or live streaming on Twitch TV. Bye guys, see you next time.